Well, we're going to correct Latin for Children, lesson chapter 2, and the first part of it, part A, is what we were working on at home. And I wanted you to try these words, even though there's going to be some little things that you may or may not be able to do in your translation. And we'll get better and better at that as the week goes on. So we looked here at amo, and it ends in O. And we were working on our verb endings this week. O, S, T, muss, tis, und. O is I, S is you, T is he or she or it, muss is we, tis y'all, und is they. We may need to use these endings up here, and you might not have thought to do that. So that's okay, that's going to be really fun. Let's see if you get the first level that you can tell that this word is something about love, loving, because it's a verb, but we know O means I, so now we can change it to I love, not just be about loving, but we know specifically it is I that's doing the loving. This word is from our word list this week, Regina, and it means queen. We don't have to worry about the endings on that one. Regina is queen. Via, we saw on our list, via is road or way, so that one is easy. Patria, we get patriotic, that's fatherland. That's pretty easy. Fabula, we get the English word fable, so that is a word that means story. Our saying, in principio erat verbum, in the beginning was the word. In the beginning was the word. Beginning was the word. John 1:1, that's not too bad. Now we get some extra little challenges up here. You might not have been able to put any words as answers in here, or you may have been able to get a little bit of a clue and say, well, that says ama, and the ending is tis. This is something about love. About loving, because it's a verb. So if you put something about love or loving, you are halfway there. Now let's look at how to get the rest of the way there. Tis. O is I, S is you, T is he or she or it, muss is we, tis is you all. You all or y'all. Ama is about love, ye all love. Or y'all do love, or y'all are loving. All right, there we go. Intrant. We learned intro, intrare, intravi, intrantum, I enter. So we know that intrant has something to do with entering. So if you put anything to do with entering, you're halfway there. Now let's see if we can look at our verb ending. Und. What is that? Look down here on our chart. O is I, S is you, T is he or she or it, muss is we, tis is y'all, and und is they. So we know this one says they, intro, intrare, they enter. So think, did you find that this was about love? Good job. Did you find this was about enter? Good job. If you're yellow and you could figure out who's doing the loving and who's doing the entering, that's really on the high level. Let's see. This one is naras. We have naro, narare, meaning to tell. So we know this is something about telling. And who is telling? Our little S ending. O is I, S is you. Oh, you tell. So remember, don't worry if you don't understand how to add these endings on. We're working on that. But if you figured that had something to do with telling, awesome. You are getting there. You'll start to see how these hook together. Muss. Laboramus. Laboro, laborare, to work, we learned last week. So muss, O is I, S is you, T is he or she or it, muss is we. So we work. And we all did work if we did work on these words. Dot, do, dare, dati, datum. That da is about giving. And this time we have a t on the end. O is I, S is you, T is he or she or it. You can pick either he or she or it. So I'll just do it. Dot, it gives. You could said he gives or she gives, but we picked it gives. Now we're going to go to the bottom of our page. And at the bottom of our page, it's talking about derivatives. To find out about dinosaurs, you must dig up a blank, and that blank comes from the word fossa. Fossa, fossae, ditch, ditch. And our English word that comes from fossa is number 1, fossil. To find out about dinosaurs, you need to dig up a fossil. And our second one, to find out what happens next in the story, turn the blank, and it comes from pagina, paginae, which means page. So we turn, whoops, not 1, number 2. We turn the page. So let's look. Did you fill out this chart in the middle? OST, muss, tis, und. And with these words up at the top, did you start to figure out what the word might be about, even if you couldn't get the ending perfectly, like the I or the you or the he, she, or it? If you figured out what the word was starting to be about, you're on a good place. By next week and the next week, we'll get really good at looking at our endings and figuring out our endings. So on our quiz that we're going to work on this week, we'll be working on our words, wea, weai, all the way down to insula, insulae, all of our 10 words, and we'll be doing our verb endings, ost, muss, tis, und. So when you look at the practice quiz, the only thing left at the bottom of the practice quiz is a couple of grammar terms. It says define the following terms. Number. So number, see if I have space, equals how many. When we talk about number, we're talking about how many. Singular or plural, how many. And person, we're talking about these verb endings, the I, you, he, she, or it. And so we have first, second, and third person. Here's first, second, third person. On our number, we have a singular side. Singular is 1. How many? 1. Or we have plural, more than 1 on our verb endings. So down in the grammar, for number, if you write how many, that's referring to singular or plural. And if you write person, we have first, second, and third person. Whoops, that's kind of funny. That's what it's going to look like on the Quizlet. The purple group needs to know the vocabulary, part A and part B on the quiz. Part C is a bonus, and D is a bonus for the purple group. For the yellow group, C and D are part of the expected part of the quiz. So yellow groupers, I expect you to know OST, muss, tis, und, and to spell them into the boxes correctly. I don't expect any of the gray area filled in right now, just the OST, muss, tis, und. On yellow groupers, I expect you to know that number is going to tell you how many, and person is going to be first, second, or third person. So hopefully you corrected your Latin. Hopefully you're ready for a quiz tomorrow on those words, and we'll see you on Monday.